Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your official English source for all things Olympiakos FC and Greek football.
The first day of training is when I realized, this is why they win the league every year.
When I spoke with Kevin, if I'm going to sign or no for Olympiakos, he said, you are crazy, go direct, my friend.
Να πετύχω ήρθα να μείνω στην ιστορία του Ολυμπιακού.
I can't speak, sure.
Yeah.
Έλα μαλάκα!
Σάγαπο πάρα πολύ Πειραιάς. Είμαι Γαύρος πάντα, όλοι μαζί.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gate 7 International. I'm Costa. I'm alone today. Labro is chilling in Lefkada, having a nice dinner. Aris is in Kalimnos, trying to get his son to sleep. Here I am by my Jays after a bore draw performance today, 0-0 against ASTERAS TRIPOLIS in the second fixture of this year's Greek Super League. I'm here with you for at least the next hour. Maybe Ari will join me as well. Maybe Labro will make a guest appearance for 5 minutes to come on for a good old rant. So stay tuned. We're here, your favourite international Olympiakos fans, Gate 7 International by the fans, for the fans, for another episode. Here we go. Now, guys, before we get into it, we did it. We effing did it. We got to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much, each and every one of you joining live today, joining later on, whenever you're listening to this. We did it, guys. 2,000 subs. We broke it on YouTube. This wouldn't be possible without you guys. It really is quite overwhelming for us that we've managed to reach this milestone. Again, nothing but thanks and a promise that we will continue getting better and better, improving the content, doing new things, more vlogs, more live commentary, more exclusive content. Thank you again for all the support, guys, on behalf of everyone. Comments already coming in. Andrea, Ebene Costa, Yasha Andrea, thanks for joining, mate. It's going to be a tough season, says Yorgos Kalgas. Sparos, what the F was that match today? Fetanos, I should just show 10 minutes of today's game. The baby will fall asleep in the first minute. Sparos says, congrats on the 2K. Thank you, sir. From one of the first fans, I think, that's been following this show for as long as we've been here, just under 2 years, I think. Roman Zbernidis, another good friend, tuning in from Russia. Shame on those who decided to keep it at Abbey for 2 more years. Are we going to suffer for that for 2 years? We'll get into that, my friend. Jan said he was going to fall asleep. And some people are talking about FIFA 23. Yorgos Vlachos says, hi, Costa from Australia. El Arabi's out of form, or is his psychology down? I'm a Tottenham fan as well. And we've always had this thing with Harry Kane and his performances in August not being so great. It's not really applicable this year, but there's kind of a parallel to be drawn there in the sense that El Arabi has always been a striker that it takes him some time to get started. He's slow start for him. We'll get into it, guys, because I've said my opinion about El Arabi before. I don't think we should have renewed his contract. I think we should have had the next player ready to come in. If you're a team that's prepared, that has, forward-thinking strategy, I think we would have already identified his. In an ideal world, we would have already identified his replacement. So we'll get into that, guys. Let's talk about the game. So let's get straight into it. So we said 0-0. I think the easy thing to say is that after a game like this, we look at it and say we dropped points already in the second game. Oh no, Panathinaikos has won another game. They're at 6 points. We're at 4. It's not how you start; it's how you finish. Okay, so we know that the manager's walked into an impossible situation here. By no means am I saying that I enjoyed today's game. But we need to put things into perspective again. And at the risk of sounding repetitive, the manager's walked into an impossible situation. The situation he's inherited is, I can't remember worse, honestly. And I've said it before, the man does not have a magic wand to come in and change things from one day to another. He's not Gandalf the White in Lord of the Rings with a cavalry of Rohirrim at his back ready to dispatch the hordes of Mordor. Okay, for those of you that watched Lord of the Rings that understood that reference. You can't just click and everything goes back to normal. Olympiakos pumping teams 3, 4, 5 goals each game. And we've said it before in this show before. It's the key word this season is patience because of mistakes that were made. We hear some Greek reporters on the radio saying now that it was a mistake that Martin stayed after winning the league. Maybe he should have gone earlier. Anyway, there are positives and negatives to take from today's game, not just negatives. We shouldn't just look at the negatives today. Okay, let me explain why. Looking at the lineup today, it was positive. Think of it this way. What would Martins have done today? He would have gone with a 4-3-3, probably. And Vila Bukhalakis Kane. Something like that. No number 10 as such, even though we're still discovering Philip Zinkenagel's capabilities in that position. We started with a formation with one defensive midfielder, and Jan is a progressive-minded defensive midfielder. Inbom Hwang at the 8, and Zinkenagel. Now, Corberan is trying to turn this around, but he needs help. He needs reinforcements. We're screaming for quality in terms of the final third, because what I saw today was a team that tried to control the game away from home in a stadium, in an away game against Asteras, where traditionally over the years we have struggled there. Yeah, it's not an easy place to go. We played a high line. We basically had only Cisse and Usainu Bar playing on the halfway line, and Oleg Ryabchuk and Avila way up high, almost like you'd see Liverpool, just both the wing backs pinned onto the touchlines. So we played a really high line, guys. And if there's one thing we saw with Martins and that team, one of the problems that we had was stopping counterattacks and defensive transition. But what we saw today was a lot of situations where we've held on to the ball. We've had 65%, 70% possession at times during the first half, the second half. But yeah, we haven't converted, or in the first half, we didn't get into good positions. But I take the positive that if you look at the midfield trio, the ball was moving forward. It wasn't moving sideways like we'd become used to with the previous manager. The ball was moving forward, and Vila likes to play the ball forward. Juan, he always, whenever he receives the ball, he opens up his body to look forward, to create angles, to look for diagonal balls. So those are positives. But the problem is that even if you have those players in midfield that can play the ball forward, when your best winger, your best option right now on the wing as a pure winger is Lazar Adjelovic, because Gary Rodriguez is more fragile than glass. That's what we have. Masouras isn't an out-and-out winger. I've said it 1,000 times before. And El Arabi is deformé. Like, the guy is not in shape, he's out of form, struggles to control the ball, to hold it up well. His hold-up play was pretty abysmal today. He had a few of those flashes where he held up the ball, turned and got a shot away. Some brave defending from the Asteras defenders that blocked some shots that were going towards goal, has to be said. But we need quality up front. We need the quality up front. So for me, our midfield actually looks pretty good. Now, we are severely lacking quality in the final third. So that's my view. And I'm not just trying to paint a rosy picture here. Okay, like, I don't think it's time already, δεύτερη αγωνιστική, second fixture of the Super League, to paint everything black. Okay. Now, I've ranted on for 5-10 minutes, however long. I owe it to you to look at the comments and see what you guys are saying. And actually, as I said, going to be here for at least an hour. I'm dropping the link into the chat. If anyone wants to come on and have a chat, say whatever you want to say. This platform is for you guys, for us to talk. If you want to talk in Greek as well, you've got me today, so we can flip to Greek as well. No problems at all. The link's in the chat. Don't be shy. Get on here. Come talk to me. TF91 says, hi, Costa. Congratulations for the 2K subs. I was saying yesterday as well that you guys are the best voice for Olympiakos. I hope you reach hundreds of thousands of subs one day. Thanos, thank you very much, Thanos, my friend. That is greatly appreciated. 100,000 subs might take a long time, but we'll keep plugging away. And with the help of you guys, I'm sure we'll get there. Do like and subscribe, guys, if you haven't done so already. If you enjoy the content today, if you enjoy the other stuff, the deep dives, the scout reports, the vlogs, check out the vlogs if you haven't done so already, guys. There are at least 4 or 5 up there now, and more coming. Okay, if you haven't checked out those vlogs, those are good fun. All right, back to this. Yorgos Pap, well, we need a player who can dribble. Masura, Zinka, and Rajelevic can't win one-on-one. Yes, and we're going to talk about transfers, my friends. I wanted to talk a little bit about the game and what we saw. Like, drop your comments in the chat, guys. I know everyone wants to talk about transfers and everyone's impatient. I'm impatient. There are a few days left, and what we've managed to bring in so far, or recently at least, is Panagiotis Retsos and Kostas Fortounis coming back, and I'm pleased for both of them. They're Greek players. I really loved Panos Retsos when he broke onto the scene. From the first moment I saw him, I really liked what I saw. I'm not bigging myself up here, but we're talking about a player that has ball playing ability, that's really has a strong mentality, throws himself into tackles. I really liked him before we sold him, but we know he's another gamble. He's another gamble this summer. After we sold him, he's had lots of injury trouble. I really hope that this guy can come back and reboot his career. He deserves it. He looks like a really good kid. 24 years old now. He's not a kid anymore. It's an opportunity for him. It's a risk. It's a risk because of his history. But again, it's one of those where, okay, he's coming in for free. So I know it is what it is, guys. And like I said, we will get into the transfers. And if he can manage to stay fit, I think it's a massive transfer. Fortounis, we've loved him over the years. I think Olympiakos fans everywhere have a special relationship with Costa. Whether we have our grievances with him as well, sometimes he hasn't turned up to the big games, particularly in Europe. Now he's coming back with 2 ACL injuries, hasn't had a proper pre-season. So when can we really expect Kostas to start playing? And these are the names that are being put out in the media now, as, you know, we brought Kostas back. We're bringing Panos Retsos back. The 2 South Koreans, Imbom Hwang, from what we've seen, from the little that we've seen, he looks like a player. The other one today, we haven't seen enough. But hopefully both of them can really make a difference. For us, we need those players that can make a difference in the first team. But as I said, we're severely lacking up front. And we'll talk about some of the names that have been in the media as well later on in the segment. Okay, so no worries there. And Nolan says, σε όσα one-on-one έχει πάει χθες ο Παλάσιος, δεν πήγαν όλοι οι δικοί μας εξτρέμ στα 16 μάτς που έχουμε παίξει ως τώρα φιλικά επίσημα. I didn't watch the Panathinaikos game, buddy, but I did see Palacios' goal yesterday. Very nice goal. Nice ball from Perez, diagonal ball over the top, took it down with his chest and flushed it across goal. I tend to agree with you with the little that I've seen, but then again, it's not really much to compare Palacios to our best winger right now, which is Lazar Rajelevic. So I don't think that's very difficult to be better than our wingers right now. Fetano says, El Arabi will start scoring. I would be worried if he didn't get any chances, but he's creating and getting them. Yeah, still don't think it's good enough. Interesting name. I I don't understand why Zinkernagel is always in the starting 11. There are so many better players, in my opinion. Look, I have to say, I think Zinkernagel, I want to say it's too early for us to judge him for a number of reasons. At Nottingham Forest, he was playing in a different system. He was playing in a system where he had essentially two forwards playing in front of him and two wing backs that were bombing up and down the field. Down the left-hand side, he had someone like Max Lowe and then Jed Spence breaking down the right-hand side and Brennan Johnson. So it was a very different system that he was used to. He basically could do anything and go anywhere in that Forest system as almost like a trequartista. You'd see him often kind of coming over to the left and taking the ball, and it's just he needs time to adjust. He's come into a very difficult situation. He looked very frustrated today when he came off as a sub. Equally, I think in the last game against Apollon, some people were telling me that he was screaming on the bench like, why? I do agree that his set pieces I thought were atrocious today. I thought his execution from the corners and the free kicks that he took were really, really poor. But you do see some flashes of quality with Philip in his ability to play the ball with one touch. So he releases the ball quickly. He's an intelligent player, and I do think he is a little like Masouras in the sense that they're both system players. If we're expecting Zinkernagel to be that player that takes that ball and runs at people and creates for himself and scores goals like Rivaldo and Fortunis in his prime, etc., I'm not sure that's what we're expecting from Philip Zinkernagel. And we spoke to a journalist from The Athletic that follows Nottingham Forest. Go and check that interview out for those of you in your spare time. If you're up for it, go and check that out. That was a really good interview, and we learned a lot about Philip Zinkernagel and what to expect from that interview with Phil. I think it was Phil Taylor from The Athletic. So those are my thoughts on Zinkernagel for now. I do expect more, and hopefully when this team does start to gel, I think he's going to be a valuable squad player. And I do expect, and we can record this segment and we can talk about it at the end of the year, I expect Philip Zinkernagel to have scored 10 goals and 10 assists minimum by the end of this season. So we'll revisit that at the end of the season. Ακόμα θεωρούμε δεφορμάρις με αυτό το πράγμα με τον Ελαραμπή, λέει ο Κεβιν Μιλαράς. Μιλαρά, I don't know if you joined, I think you joined a little bit later after we started. So I said already, he's a player that always starts slow every season. Again, being repetitive, I think both I and Ari and pretty much everyone on this show could say we were against this. We were against this renewal. In an ideal world, we would have liked to identify another striker, a replacement. And that's no disrespect to Youssef El Arabi, who's given us goals galore the last 3 seasons, pretty much single-handedly helped get us the title last season in Greece. Even though a lot of goals last season were penalties, let's not forget. I think our best performer last year that was, in non-penalties was Masouras. I think El Arabi had 9 penalties or something last season in the Greek Super League. But I also said this a couple of episodes ago. Let's take as a scenario that yes, El Arabi has started very slow this season. Hopefully, he gets into the swing of things. He gets his fitness, he gets his sharpness back, and he starts to bang in the goals again. But we've brought in Weizhou Huang, who's likely going to be our number 1 striker this season. Well, that's probably what's been promised to him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come all the way here. Remember, he had some hesitation to come to Greece. He's probably had some assurances. I think that having the luxury of El Arabi on the bench could be crucial in terms of winning the league this season. Because if you look at the other teams and the options they have on the bench as their second choice striker, they definitely don't have El Arabi on the bench or somebody of that quality. So that's the only thing I'll say about El Arabi, besides the negative stuff and how we've said it was a mistake to pay this guy 2.5 million, which financially and given his role, it's not ideal. But it is what it is, and now he's there. And we're going to have him there for at least another year. It's a 2-year contract. Nobody knows what's going to happen next summer. Hell, nobody knows what's going to happen maybe in January after the World Cup. Maybe somebody comes looking for him. We'll see. Now, I told you that I'm alone at the beginning of this episode, but it's highly likely that somebody might want to come on and have a rant for 5 minutes, or that somebody else might have managed to get his kids to sleep. And there's Ari.
What's up, Costa?
What's
How
up,
you
man?
doing? Not too much. Listen, I totally messed up when putting Michali to bed, dude. All I had to do was put the game on. 15
Somebody
minutes
said
of the
that,
first
actually.
half. Are you serious?
Somebody actually said that. Yeah, I think Fetanos was like, "Oh, tell him to put the game on," and he'll fall asleep.
That's what I did. After it took about 15 minutes, 20 minutes in the first half, and he was out. It speaks a lot, but yeah, it was a rough game. There is a statistic I want to put out, though, or a couple of things. I'm sure you already went over some of the pros and cons that we put up on social media. And what I also want to remind everybody is that the last 2 times we played ASTERAS last season, both times we beat them, right? The first time we beat them was also away in Kolokotroni, and we beat them with 2 goals from only 2 shots on target. We actually had half the number of opportunities that we had in this game alone. And I'm going to venture a guess and say that when I see the stats populate and when I see the XG for, the opportunities that were created, that it's also going to be a lot less than what we had this past evening. So I just want to remind everyone, even when we beat them 5-1, we had less opportunities against them than we did tonight. Less corners, less offensive movement. And I just double-checked all of this all while I was trying to put Michali to bed. So just some food for thought. So because on those positives in the social media post, it was discussed about the movement that was getting forward better instead of just lateral, things like that. And the ability to stop the counters, because Asteras has made us pay in the past sometimes off their counterattacks, specifically when they involve Mr. Eagle, Mr. Bald Eagle Morales. So he's made us pay a couple of times, and we stifled them. They had 1 shot on target all game today. That counts for something, doesn't it? I'm not going to say that it was the best performance ever. Like I just said, I used it to put my son to sleep, but an important positive for me, important takeaways, all things considered.
No, and I think it's great that you're adding basically to what I've said earlier today before you joined. And one of the things that really kind of struck me, and I really try to look at positives, because it's frustrating. It is frustrating because we're Olympiakos fans and we expect to be entertained. We're spoiled in that respect, and this is not good enough. But perspective and context is everything. And it's like a broken record every time we say patience is the key word this season. We have to give the manager time. We're seeing improvement game to game. But honestly, like Ari, what I saw today was a positive signal from the manager in that he wanted to try and play football, that he wanted to control the game, the tempo of the game. He had 3 midfielders in there that are all positive. Even like Envila is the most defensive-minded midfielder we had on the pitch today. And Envila is always looking forward. He's always looking to play a forward pass. Same for Juan. Every time he gets the ball, he opens up his body so that he's facing forward, so that he can release the ball, play diagonally, play the ball forward. And Zinchenko is a bit of an enigma right now. I don't think it's the time to judge him. I did refer back to the episode with Phil Taylor, and people should go back and watch that to try and understand a little bit better what this guy can bring. But yeah, obviously positives and negatives today, and I think those stats are also super helpful. Going back to the chat, somebody asked me somewhere, who was my man of the match today? which genius was that asked that question? Anyway, I'm going to find that. There is a question in the poll already for those of you on YouTube. It's hard to pick a man of the match, but we'll get to that at the end. Have a look on the poll. Click on any of those if you agree. If you don't, like, leave us your man of the match in the chat here as well, and your vote contributes towards the man of the match for Gate 7 International. Those graphics go up on our Instagram and everywhere. It was this guy. Who was your man of the match today? Stick around. We do man of the match and coach's grade at the end, my friend. Ari, any other thoughts on the game today? Like, otherwise we can work through the comments here. There's plenty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to catch up with however many comments I can get through, and I'm seeing a lot of hate for Zinkernagel here. And although I agree that, I mean, let's just say a lot more went wrong for him today than right. And forgetting all the things I want to tell myself about, you know, maybe it's the system, he needs transition. Working through the first half, putting my son to sleep. You know, when you watch a game again, you notice other things, right? That's why I like to watch games multiple times, you know, at least twice. You notice things that you didn't catch the first time around. There's less emotion. You're able to actually see what's going on and see more details. And I know exactly why Zinkernagel's starting. And the reason he's starting on this team, we've talked about some of the most important things about Corberan's system is the movement, right? A lot of this is the system hinges on these dynamic movements, dynamic rotations between players. You saw some of that today, actually, especially in the first half. There was a little bit more movement going around. You saw the rotating runs, wing and center forward. El Arabi was actually coming deeper and wide a couple of times. You also saw it between Inbam Huang and the forwards and wings as well. The thing with Zinkernagel is he makes the right runs. He goes into the right spaces, and you saw him involved. He was involved in a lot of things. That's not by accident. His problem today was execution. He would make a lovely run and then just screw up the execution on the final ball with whether it was one of those 1-2 pieces of interplay, or when there was, I think at the beginning of the second half, he beats the defender, lovely move, only to then lose the ball with a crappy pass. That's the problem with him. But I'm telling you, the reason he sees the field so much is because of his movement. I had said in the deep dive, my concern with him was consistency, because there were games I saw with Nottingham. There were some games it was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And if he had one of those games where that final ball, that final pass, and that 1-2 connected, and he didn't screw it up and give it away to somebody else, we would be saying he was man of the match today with the movements and the positions he got himself into. But today it felt like he just couldn't get any of them right. And I feel like it's kind of weird, but I feel like this has become kind of like a story of a lot of these transfers we bring in. Very hardworking players like Oleg, for example, like the Brumas, but sometimes their final product, the technical ability, that final product just isn't there. And as much as we love a guy that leaves it all on the field, at the same time, you have to have somebody that can put the pieces together and that has that technical ability.
But you need the workhorses. You need the workhorses, and you need the Pedenses, and you need the Miralases, and you need somebody to wake everyone up in the stadium as well, to do something unpredictable. So you need. I love me a workhorse. I thought Oleg had another good game today, but it's not enough.
One other piece of statistics you won't get anywhere else: the number of one-touch plays that we had today. We have not seen that level of one-touch interplay since the 2019 and 2020 season under Pedro Martins. And what game do you think it was the last time we saw this volume of one-touch interplay? It probably isn't that hard, but
I'm not going to venture a guess.
Wolves.
I was thinking Wolves, but I thought, no, really?
Yeah, I thought I was trying to go through as quickly as I could, and I could have messed this up. It's not like I had a lot of time to go through this. I was trying to go through different pass plays that had multiple sets of 1-2 touch interplay, and I couldn't find, even in the season at the COVID season, a lot of, and I thought we actually were pretty good in that season too. Not as good as 1920, but there wasn't a lot of instances of one touch in the season, the 2020-2021 season. Funny enough. So another interesting little point for you guys to take home.
And people were itching to talk about transfers and talk about free Corberan, hashtag, says Mike. Board needs to make transfers yesterday. Situations, fault of the board, they need to clean it. Plan, resources, structure, whatever. Now seems like 0 is done. There's a few days left. I'm not going to call this one quite yet. And I am very concerned about some of the names that I'm reading. And the fact that, yeah, we are very close to the deadline day. Miltos is saying 14 September, last day. Guys, 15th of September at midnight, the window closes.
Right.
But we need to get players in to declare them for the UEFA list by the 2nd. By the 2nd.
4 days.
4 days away. It's already pointing.
Yeah,
4
4 days.
fingers. I am concerned. I am very concerned. Before we start ranting again about transfers, I do want to. There's a lot of comments, and I do want to go through all of this. I don't. We've seen this comment before. Mike again. I'm sorry, Costa. We shouldn't talk about the positives and blame Martins. He's gone almost 2 months. We need to know what's happening with the above I mentioned. I agree. We all agree, Mike. We all want to know who our targets are. We all want to bring in a quality winger. We all want to see a player like Pedense or Miralas or Galetti. Take your pick, whatever generation you are. We need a winger that can come in and make things happen. Because, like I said earlier, you can have a brilliant midfield trio, in theory, like we did today, or at least 2 of them, performance-wise today. But if when they get the ball forward, the first thing the attackers do is run a bit forward and then turn back and pass the ball back again, then we're saying the same thing, Adelfemo. Yeah, we need the quality up front. I'm not satisfied with an Ivan Cavaleiro, 28-year-old finished player. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be satisfied with that. I'm saying it now. If we end up bringing in a guy like that as our big, make the difference, Canete Diafora winger, nah. Something's we know something's seriously wrong. A lot of the transfers that we've made this season, they're all gambles. Versalico, go back and listen to what Ari said. This guy could be the closest thing we've ever seen to Torosidis, but he's a massive risk. Look at his injury history. The other day, he announced his retirement from the Croatian national team. And when we signed him, they were saying one of the reasons he came to us was because he wanted game time so that he can go to the World Cup. And now he's announced his retirement. What does that mean? Is he going to retire from, I don't know. Where is he? Where's the goddamn injury list? Where's somebody to tell us, this is what's happened to him. This is how long he's going to be out. We don't know anything. It's always been like that, and it hasn't changed. It's still in when it comes to Conrad de la Fuente, player with potential, low risk, high ceiling, what Ari said in his verdict. But he's not even in the squad list today because we thought he had a Spanish passport. Or I don't know what, but we've made mistakes. Got too many foreigners. Too many foreigners that we can't put Aguibu Camara in a squad list for today. We couldn't take De La Fuente to the game. So who else have I missed? We talked about Zinc. Being a bit too harsh on him right now. It needs time. All Scandinavian players do, particularly the forwards. But so far, we had this chat in our in our chat, like WhatsApp, in our WhatsApp group, like, how are the transfers that we've made this season? Who can we really look at one and say, Inbon? That's it. And he's played 3 games? He's played 3 games.
Yep.
He made it 90 minutes today, didn't he? Played a 90-minute game. So that's positive. But otherwise, like, we agree, guys. Mistakes have been made. And I said it before on previous episodes. We made it through to the group stages of the Europa League. All this time we've been fed that, players aren't coming because first we need to guarantee European football and make sure we're in the Europa League, and then we can try and convince players. We're talking to players, they're waiting to, hit the button, and nothing's happened. So there's a situation. There is no doubt a situation, but there's a few days to go. So I'm not going to be the one to come here and say everything's shit. Let's at least wait and see until the 2nd of September. But we're not beating around the bush. To go back to Mike's comment, I'm not beating around the bush in any sense, in terms of pointing fingers and being asked for people to take responsibility. Where's Vasilis Torosidis? Who's the technical director? Who's making the transfers? Who decides?
Assuming that's what the technical director does at this club.
When I'm not afraid to ask questions, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
We're not here to be constantly negative or constantly positive. We're here to try and look at things like as objectively as we can. Like, we love the club. We want to make we want to be a force for progress, force for change, making Olympiakos a more global club. You all know that, the ones of you that listen to us day in, day out, week in, week out, every Sunday, whenever we go live, whenever we do episodes. But sorry, Ari, that was too long.
No, dude, get it out, man. I'm with you right here. I just want to quickly shout out Spatos here. I don't know what a super sticker is, but it looks like he paid 99 cents for it. So thank you so much, man, for the donation. We appreciate all donations.
Thank you, Spatos.
I want to know what a super sticker does. I've seen them before. I need to actually read about it. But anyway, moving on. Thank you again, Sparos. Listen, we've kind of talked about this before, so it should be no surprise. For what I see, from how the movements of the club are being made. First up, they screwed up, right? They screwed up with Martins. They trusted him. They shouldn't have, but they did. Some of the moves that they made were probably for his behalf. Things didn't work out. Now, but when things don't work out, okay, you own up to it, and you have to make the remedies for the mistakes. And the club hasn't really done that yet. They've taken a lot of risks. And what I'm seeing here is a club that is primarily focused right now on trimming the budget, getting leaner, basically, because we already saw the 10 million that he dumped in before to balance the books. Probably will have to do it again. We're selling players for whatever we can get, offloading players to get them off the books however we can. And part of me, just based on what I would do as a person that was in charge of the business aspect of this, part of me sees that there is more focus on shedding and trimming the fat off the books than looking for the quality that should be coming in. And you can try to do both, but the number of gambles that we're seeing indicates to me that this is much more of a, hey, we got to fix the books, and then maybe we get, as soon as we do what we can in Europa League this year, and then hopefully things work out better the following year. That's how I see it, to be honest with you, because that's how I see the moves that are being made. We're trying to get money here and there. I know people don't like when I bring up the books, but the books are a real thing. And it explains the activity, man. It explains what we're seeing. So don't be surprised, guys, if by the end of the transfer window, we get a couple of, let's say, underwhelming transfers in addition to, of course, Kostas Fortounis and Retsos. But
that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I mentioned about Retos and Fortunis already, but with regards to the budget and what you were talking about as a transition year before, hello, guys, Philippos from Philadelphia, USA, you're doing an incredible job. Keep doing what you're doing. For listening, yeah, Felipe, thank you very much for your donation, my friends. It will be put to good use. Looking into some live score software as well. Always looking for ways to improve. So all of those donations that we get, guys, from you, very, very much appreciated, and we'll always be looking to put that to good use and always look at how we can improve the content and the materials that we provide for you guys. I want to go back to this Vaclik. Now, I want to get this off my chest. And I've said this to the guys in the team. Every time a ball goes into the 6-yard box, it's danger. Every time. And I'm really worried that literally anybody that looks at us this season, looks at all our games, the manager's just going to go get the ball out to the wings and whip it into the 6-yard box. The keeper's not going to come out and just load players into the box. We can't clear the ball to save our lives. Because you know that thing we were talking about last year when we had Zorlakis playing in goal in some of the Champions League qualifiers, and we were all talking about how a defense needs to have confidence in the goalkeeper that's playing behind them, and it changes everything. If you know you've got a keeper behind you and you're confident in his ability, and I've got Peter Schmeichel behind me, I've got Alisson behind me, or whoever whoever your favorite keeper is. I'm not sure the centre backs at Olympiakos have the greatest confidence in the keeper, and not taking away from Vaclik. Like Vaclik is a top shot stopper. We saw that penalty shootouts the other day, and I had that feeling in my head. I was like, we've got Vaclik in goal. Like, he's a good shot stopper. He can get us out of jail in the penalty shootout. He did it in Slovakia. He did it against Apollon at the Karaiskaki last Thursday. But my God, when the ball gets thrown into the box, into the 6-yard area, it doesn't come off his line, or he comes off so slowly. Mm-hmm. And then the defense is just struggling to get the ball away. And we've seen this so many times this season, like the volleyball in the box with the heads. And today, I think we got away with it because I saw the replay once, but I haven't seen it again. But I'm not sure there was much in that. Maybe another ref let that one stand.
Look, I'm not calling that if that's me. If I'm the referee, I'm not calling that. But I've also seen stuff like we've seen worse called for and against us. Let's be completely honest here. Anybody remember the Rafinha handball? He was defending his face. He was taking a ball to the face. That's the only time that it's okay.
Against Marseille away.
Against Marseille, he put his hand up to his face. The ball came to his face and hit him. By definition, in the book, that's fine, but they called that. Look, it is what it is. Maybe I wouldn't have called it, you wouldn't have called it, but this guy did. It's not the craziest foul we've seen. It's not like some of the penalties, the dodgy penalties, certain other clubs in Greece get at a much bigger volume than we do. But we will, let that one go. We have another. Oh my goodness. Guys, another donation here. Mike Scobb, not much, but it is honest work. Keep it up. Mike, look, anything you guys give us is huge for us. Look, I don't think we ever considered that anybody would want to donate anything to us. Like, who are we? It's just Costa, myself, Lambro. Like, the fact that you guys believe in us and want to offer that, I don't think I can express, or Costa can express, how much it means. And seriously, guys, this channel's leveling up. There's things that we're doing. All of this is going to something to help make the experience better, whether it's better data, whether it's something for live shows. The live show with Lambro was a huge hit there. So we want to try and do more of those. We want to do more vlogs. All of this is going to go to making this just a way better content for you guys. So thank you guys again, everybody. Anything that you guys contribute, it goes to something, we promise you. And then shirts, guys, we are working on them. We're trying to get them even at scale and get like a good bulk, good quantity of them at price. It's expensive. So, but we are working on it. We're trying to do all of this so that we can be everything that the fans deserve.
Thanks for the love, guys. Another message from George Vlachos says, I joined a couple of months ago and it's the best live show. My nickname is Rolandinho. Thank you, George, for the compliment. And as Ari said, guys, I mean, like the contributions, the donations that we get, they go to things like paying for our Y Scout membership to access data, to look at that. And one thing that, you know, we don't get paid is our time, and that's not, we're never going to ask that, but like we spend time, Ari spends a lot of time looking at data, preparing those deep dives. Have a look at some new stat cards that are coming up on our socials, on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, some really good stuff. So that's our promise to you. So we do appreciate those donations. Whoever feels like donating, even if it's €1, €2, or whatever, we really appreciate it. But more than anything, we appreciate you guys and the fact that you help us to keep growing the community. Hitting the like button also doesn't cost you anything, but what it does do is help get this episode out to a wider audience. So if you haven't done it already and you're watching us live right now, hit the like button. It will go out to more people right now or later on. So that's really appreciated. Hit the bell as well under the subscribe button so that you get a notification every time we go live and you won't miss any future content. Right. Should we just bite the bullet and go straight here? Transfers. This is where we're going. And sorry, I just hid Manos's comment. Maybe you can bring that one back up.
Yeah, I got it here. It's along the lines of the same boat anyway. Because Lambro, I saw 2 or 3 comments from Lambro saying to bring this one back up too. And I had missed this, so I'm glad he said something. But Manos is saying if they don't make quality transfers in the remaining days, they don't deserve our support and money. We want to support the new coach, but what if the board doesn't even support him? This is a strong stance to take, guys. And there's definitely something to this. I understand exactly what Manos is saying. All I'm going to say at this point, let's see what happens at least before the European list is due. Let's see what happens. If anything can come of it, if anything can be mobilized before that. Oh, real quick, before I continue with that, another one. Adria Pirlo Wine Tester, thank you so much, man, for the donation. After a draw today at the 29th of August, Stis caras και τις λίπες μαζί. I do terrible with Greeklish.
Stis caras και τις λίπες μαζί. Ευχαριστώ, Αντρίκο. Να σε καλά.
Thank you, Costa. You caught that better than me. Thank you so much. And I saw his comment earlier about seeing me at the stadium. Tell me who you actually were, sir, because I remember everybody that I met, but I can't tell by the screen name who it was. So, but I was so happy to meet everybody at that day. It was fantastic. But
I want to bring this comment
go
up.
ahead, Costa. Bring that one up.
It's my cousin, Leonidas Pragias. Τα πράγματα είναι απλά. Η ομάδα είναι για να χαροπαλεύει στο Europa ή στο Conference και οι Γάβροι δεν συμβιβαζόμαστε με αυτό. Πάρτε το χαμπάρι όλοι που είστε παντού, οι αλήθειες να λέγονται. Λέω μου, εγώ τα έχω... I'm just going to answer my cousin in Greek. Εγώ τα έχω πει. Η ομάδα είναι αυτή τη στιγμή επίπεδου Conference. Ήταν κατόρθωμα που φτάσαμε να πάμε Europa φέτος. Το είδαμε πώς πήγαμε. Χωρίς νίκη, στα πέναλτι. Και στα 2 μάτς, για το πρεστίζ του συλλόγου ήταν σημαντικό να παραμείνουμε, τουλάχιστον να πάμε Europa, αλλά η αλήθεια είναι ότι το ελληνικό ποδόσφαιρο και έτσι όπως είναι το ρόστερ, που δεν είναι ολοκληρωμένο, δεν είναι μονταρισμένη η ομάδα, θα είναι δύσκολα. Θα είναι δύσκολα. Εγώ δεν έχω κανένα πρόβλημα και το έχω ξαναπεί. Από πέρσι τα έχω πει αυτά. Για conference και τι θα έπρεπε να είναι στόχος. Στόχος, ναι, πρέπει να είναι Champions League, αλλά πρέπει να είμαστε και ρεαλιστικοί. Η ομάδα δεν είναι για Champions League.
Yep.
I'm going to go back to English, but we're not a Champions League level team. And I know some people said, oh, look, Plitzen made it through to the group stages. Some people were saying that looking at some of the teams that are in pot 4, like, Olympiakos should be there. No, but what do you mean we should be there? If you're going to be there, it's because you deserve to be there. It's because you have a team and you can compete. We don't. Simple as that. And going back to your point earlier, Ari, we do need to look at this season as a transition year, and that, possibly it is going to be one of those tough seasons, and we should expect more next year. But there's more. There's more we need to talk about. And sorry, guys, like we can't get. It's hard to get all the comments here. There you go.
There it is. Yeah.
He's a really great guy. Kalispera Armada. So you met this guy at Karaiskagi, very good. Same guy. Zincanago, I think, is good in the build-up, but lacks fitness. I think we can say that about almost anybody on the squad, apart from the 2 Koreans, in terms of fitness. Really.
Costa, there's a really good question here.
Bring it up.
KN803, what do you think about El Abdellaoui? Would you like him back? He might go to Ike. My answer for this one is very straightforward. I don't have to think very hard about it. My answer is no.
Yeah, I think no. as much as my heart is yes, it's in my brain is like no.
And I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. We haven't had a right back like him for some time. You know what I mean? But as it stands, do you know what it's like to play with one eye on the field? I do. I took a hit once to the eye. I had to wear a patch. You know how hard it is to see the field with one eye? It's really tough. It's really tough probably to just go ahead and do it, guys. Cover one eye and just cover it. Leave it covered for an hour, roughly an hour or so, and see what it's like to not have that peripheral vision over there. And look, I didn't follow him much over in Turkey, but
me neither.
I've heard that I heard from some friends, some people that have DM'd me and said he was okay, but nothing special. I wish he could fully recover, man. But it's a no from me, man. Having personally dealt with that and knowing how hard it is to be as good as normal with something like that, I can't do it. That's a no for me.
No, I did see that rumor as well, and I do think it's Radio Arvila, like somebody. This is another one. Greg Val says, "Κάτι ακούγεται ότι Manolas θα φύγει δανεικός είναι Radio Arvila." Translation for those non-Greek speakers. Yeah. Something being some rumors going around that Manolas might go on loan. Is it true or false? Haven't heard anything, mate. I haven't heard anything of that sort. But I would not be surprised if there are anyone. I think if an offer comes in for anyone right now, everyone's available at the right price. I don't think there's a single player. I don't think there's a single player on this team that's untouchable right now.
Maybe Wong, Inbam Wong.
Yeah. Besides,
that's about it. I don't want to have to find. It took us too long to find it.
He came 10 days ago. I think that one's safe, and the other ones are on loan, so they can't break the loans. But this is an interesting one as well from Miltos. Επιγόντως σας πάνε να γραφτούν όλα τα extremes σε ένα boxing club. Κανένας δεν έχει λίγο αυτοπεποίθηση, ας πούμε, να πει θα το περάσει με την τρίπλα. Again, translation. These guys, these wingers need to go boxing club, gain a bit of confidence, so that they can dribble one-on-one. Maybe it's good for fitness too. I do like my kickboxing. Very good fitness. Okay, seriously though, what else have we got here?
Did you bring up I know this probably would have been at the beginning. Did you bring up the subtitles thing?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, guys, so YouTube now has a setting where we can actually do Greek subtitles. I'm not quite sure how it works for the live shows yet, but we already did testing with a couple of the other shows and they work. The translations are not the best. The ones that we tested sketchy, but at least it's something. So a lot of the Greek listeners, about half our audience is Greek in Greece, and some people that have asked questions about, hey, how can I get the Greek subtitles? So we can do that now. We're actively going back to the old episodes, doing them, and we're going to have them going forward. But just something for those of you maybe that have a hard time following English, we're going to have that for you so that you can follow along a little bit better. Just wanted to make sure that we shouted that out.
Yeah, that's important. And like you said, we do realize a lot of our listeners are from Greece. So that is important, and we don't neglect that, and we appreciate so much as well the fact that we have so many people that would go and listen to Dionysi Verveles, our good friend, that also come in here as well and support us. So we do really appreciate it, guys. We obviously being a Greek club, but we please also, like, and we might not say this enough, like our mission as well is to help get more Olympiakos fans, or create Olympiakos fans in different parts of the world as well, and also to reach out to people like us, I guess, or diaspora Greeks that have been born abroad, or their father or their grandfather took them to Karaiskagi when they went to Greece in the summer, you know, and fell in love with the club. So, you know, that's important for us as well. So, but of course, we never neglect the fans in Greece as well. So we're doing, as Ari said, already going back and making sure that old episodes have Greek subtitles, and this one, of course, when this one finishes today. Okay, I'm going to keep going for another 10 minutes, guys. Transfers and stuff, man of the match, if we can even do that today. If you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe. Another reminder to do so. That really helps the channel moving forward. And I've seen some comments about what is it? About Amavi. So Leonidas is back. Κάποτε βλέπαμε Γιαννακόπουλο, Τζόρτζεβι, Στολτίδη, Τζιοβάνι Γκαλέτη. Σταμάτα ρε ξάδερφε. Τι λες τώρα ρε ξάδερφε. Τι λες τώρα. Άσε, και θα αρχίσουμε να κλαίμε σε λίγο. Εντάξει. Things have changed. We don't have Giovanni Zahovic. Even Zahovic, man, is a fucking nutcase. But I'll never forget that freaking goal against Real Madrid. I was, you know, different times, different eras. Kyriakopoulos. Refile, have you seen what Kyriakopoulos is doing in Italy? Τι να έρθει ο Kyriakopoulos να κάνει στην Ελλάδα, ρε φίλε. Not happening. We were going to pay 15-20 million to bring Kyriakopoulos back. Okay, let's talk about Amavi.
Do you want to? I don't even want to do a deep dive on him.
No,
like,
I don't even want to design a graphic for him. Like, I'm so disenchanted. I'm so disillusioned with this news that we're signing Jordan Amavi. So the news broke during the game from Nikos Kotsis that we're close to signing Amavi from Marseille on a loan with an option to buy 2 million euros. It's not a mandatory or an obligation to buy. It's an option to buy. So I don't watch a lot of Ligue 1 French football, but one of our really good friends, Olympiakos, FR, Olympiakos France on Twitter, guy has more than 6,000 followers. He's a journalist, football journalist in France, Marseille fan as well. So when we ask him his opinion, we take it seriously. Now, talking to him and talking to other people about Amavi, everyone says the same thing. The guy hasn't played at a high level for 2 seasons. He's made about 30 appearances in the last 2 seasons. He's gone on loan to Nice, I think it was last season as well, for the last 6 months. Didn't even do much there, playing week in, week out. What's he coming to do here? I feel like Oleg Grabchuk is a better player. What Martial said to us about Amavi is that he can run. like technique, crossing ability, dribbling. Forget about it. So what are we talking about? I really don't know what this is about. And we talked about organization and structure earlier. It's been a whole shit show with Leidner saying he's going to Israel on Friday to sort out his Romanian passport. Some people are saying that we might be bringing Amavi because Rabchuk is going on loan, is going to be sold or loaned or whatever it is. I don't get it. I don't get this transfer. I really don't.
Nope.
I really don't. And sorry, Ari, one last thing. And I wrote this in a tweet earlier. 1,000 times, I would give an opportunity to Kitsos than to sign an average player or a player that isn't better than my starting left back right now. If I'm going to make a signing, I'm going to sign a player that is better than what I have right now, or at least on the same level to compete.
Yep.
From what we're hearing, this isn't the case. In all of last season, from January to the end of the season, we heard Project Tsimikas, o Kitsos, θα τον κάνουμε αριστερό back, τον extreme από τις ακαδημίες. What happens? We're going to have Leidner, Reabchuk, Kutris, and Kitsos and Amavi, 5 left backs.
Yeah. No, this is horrible. Like, are you? And this is just one of those things where it's like, okay, you know what? I understand that, you know, maybe the Greek youth, the mentality isn't there. Luciano said it. We've had other people tell us the same thing. But are you guys really going to tell me that they are worse? That what we have coming up, that some of these young guys are worse than this? Come on. Like, let me give you guys some baseline stats for Mr. Amavi here, okay? Crossing accuracy, crossing volume, less than 1 cross per 90, under 10%. Under 10% accuracy. That's worse than Oleg. That's worse than Oleg when he was at his worst. This is horrible. Come on, guys. Let's look. I mean, he's got some dribbling volume. I see progressive ability here. He's okay in the air, but I see nothing. I'm looking for an offensive wing back. I don't see anything just in like the base level stats that tell me this guy can help us create, that this guy's going to help us get forward. There's nothing there. You're going to tell me Kitsos is worse? Gudris is worse than this? I can't. I'm sorry. I do not believe that. And if this is one of the BAMs that's in store for us, then I think Manos's comment earlier, there's something to that. But we'll see. I'm giving the club the benefit of the doubt. I know they want to win as much as we do. They don't want this. They don't want to deal with this crap any more than we do. So. But I think I'm going to hope for the best. That's it. That's all I can say. I'm going to hope for the best, and we'll see what happens. But, I mean, if that's who we're going for, guys, I'd rather have Oleg Gutris Kitsos in the tank. That's it. You know what I mean? And go from there. If that's what you're giving me, Amavi, forget about it. Just give me those guys. I'm done.
Okay, so this is an opinion that people, including our lovely co-host Lavros Sirmos, chilling on a beach, eating some fish or whatever you're doing, mate. Yeah, this was really enjoy your holidays. Like, try and relax, try and chill out, enjoy Lefkada. Fucker, like, si se sinalada, like, mas less. You're in Greece too. I'm stuck in Belgium. Anyway, Manos. If they don't make quality transfers in the remaining days, says Manos, they don't deserve our support and our money. We want to support the new coach, but what if the board doesn't even support him? 4 days left. 4 days left, Manos. I don't know if they brought in this coach because they saw him and what he did at Huddersfield with a low budget and think that he can do it again here. I do have a lot of faith in this manager from the things that I've seen. But he deserves to be given the tools. We've all said that before. And when the transfer window does come to a close, we will go and look at all of them one by one. We'll be back here and we will assess and analyze the situation with you. Okay, but until then, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt to turn this around. That's all we can do right now. Ari, what you say? Hope.
Yeah. Hope. That's it. That's all we can do. Nolan Linder Fox here. If only we got the left backs for a few years ago, like Rice and Zanussi. Wasn't Rice booed out of was it Sporting? Wasn't he booed off the field?
The Porto left back, you mean?
No, that was Zanussi. Zaidu Zanussi was the Porto left back. He was also one. Mateus Rice?
Rice, he did go to Sporting in the end, I think.
Yeah, and he got booed off the field. I remember it was reported.
Did he?
Yeah, he got booed off the field, and then remember Luis was telling us how unhappy Porto fans were with Zaidu, and they wanted Oleg. They thought Oleg had a higher ceiling than Zaidu. It's one of those things, like grass is always greener. You know what I mean? But both of those players turned out to be not so good. Zaidu Sanusi turned out to be a player that was heavily reliant on his physical characteristics. Not much here, so to speak. And Mateus Rice, I can't tell. I haven't watched him play. I just read that news bit that he was booed off the field. So I don't know if there was something else behind that. I'm just pointing that out. We were also linked with a Peruvian back then, Miguel Trauco, whatever happened to him. But, you know.
Yeah. Nico Score, I think this is a new sub. Nico, thanks for joining us. Παιδιά, όσο θα συνεχίζετε να σέβεστε την νοημοσύνη και το πάθος του απανταχού οπαδών της ομάδας ανά τον κόσμο, το κανάλι συνεχώς θα μεγαλώνει. Ευχαριστούμε για την καλή δουλειά που κάνετε. Thank you very much for that kind comment. Of course, no, like I said, we respect all opinions, and we're not here to feed you sheep's food, sano, as they say in Greek. Δεν είμαστε εδώ να σας ταΐζουμε σano. Είμαστε εδώ να τα λέμε τα πράγματα όπως τα βλέπουμε, how we see things. Όχι, χωρίς παροπίδες, ρε παιδί μου, Ολυμπιακοί είμαστε και θέλουμε να λέμε τα πράγματα όπως τα βλέπουμε, how we see things. Okay.
Yeah, and we have different opinions, you know, between
all of us on the show have different opinions.
Kostas Llanos, we all had different opinions. You know, Lambro was readying an obituary for Olympiakos after today. Lambro was really down in the dumps, poor guy, in Greece, and he was depressed already. I felt so bad. But yeah, we all have different opinions. It's not always, you know, we're not gonna tell you guys that the sun is shiny when it's clearly raining. That's not the type of people that we are. So we tell you our opinion, and usually it's data fueled, it's data driven. We don't just make up crap. This isn't the Cafenio here. Everything that we do, we support with either real information, data, or statistics, and that's how we formulate our opinions most of the time here.
Guys, we've been going for more than an hour. Still the comments is going off here. People talking about James Rodriguez, people talking about Adam Unas. We can keep going all night long. Maybe there's some news for those of you that do stay up until 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock Greek time, waiting for that Nikos Kotsis tweet. I'm going to bed. Tomorrow's another day, guys. Thank you for sticking with us tonight. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the conversation. A few more days left. We've got another game on Saturday. We'll probably be back, if not after the game, definitely on a Sunday as usual. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, thank you to our sponsor, BetUS. If you're a betting man, go to betus.com.pa. Use our code GATE7INTL. You can get 100% boost on your first deposit. If you put $100, you'll immediately get 125 as a nice gift by using the code GATE7INTL if you're a betting man. There you go, guys. Another episode of Gate 7 International coming to an end. This is Costa signing off with Ari. Ade. Talema next time. Gate 7 International by the fans for the fans. Adios.